Welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Nolene Evel-Ame with the news. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed formal appreciation to the Socialist Republic of Vietnam for its support to Nigeria in the areas of security and economic development. This was while granting audience to the ambassador of Vietnam to Nigeria, Long Koo Kin. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The Vietnamese ambassador to Nigeria, Lung Quang Thin, was in the State House on a farewell audience with President Muhammadu Buhari, having completed his tour of duty in Nigeria. The president extended his best wishes to the envoy, whom he congratulated on his successful 3-year term. He expressed the wish that the highly beneficial relations between Nigeria and Vietnam in critical economic sectors will continue to grow. Ambassador Thin congratulated the Nigerian leader on the successful conduct of the last general elections and the widespread victory of the governing APC in both the presidential, National Assembly, gubernatorial, and State Assembly polls. He canvassed a mutual relationship between the Communist Party of Vietnam and Nigeria's All Progressives Congress. The outgoing envoy lauded President Buhari on how Nigeria admirably tackled the coronavirus pandemic, which he said affected good part of his stay in the country, and how the economy is being rebuilt. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA.
President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, has extended his warm felicitations to Nigeria's president-elect, Bola Tinubu, on his election victory. The Ukrainian leader, in a congratulatory letter he personally signed, expressed his gladness at the peaceful conduct of Nigeria's just concluded general elections and particularly praised the victory of Tinubu as the next president of Nigeria, adding that his country is determined to further strengthen cooperation with Nigeria. Zelensky used the opportunity of the goodwill message to extend his invitation to the president-elect to visit Ukraine on a state visit as soon as he settles down in office after inauguration on May 29, 2023. In a statement by Tunde Rahman in the office of the president-elect, the Ukrainian leader, who expressed gratitude for Nigeria's support for the resolution of the General Assembly of the United Nations Organization principles of the UN Charter underlying a comprehensive, just and sustainable peace in Ukraine, said he counts on the active participation of Nigeria in its practical implementation. Now, following speculations on a security threat to the 29th May presidential inauguration, the defense headquarters say the intelligence community is on guard. The Director Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Damadami, gave the assurance at a news conference in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
It is the bi-weekly update on ongoing armed forces operations between 6th and 20th April 2023 across the country. Top is the rescue of 206 kidnapped victims in the northeast and the elimination of 24 unrepentant terrorists in different combats by troops of Operation Hadinkai. Of importance at this briefing is the proactive measures in place regarding the alleged pending security threat to the 29th May 2023 presidential inauguration.
People who are in the verge of trying to commit crime are being arrested. People who are moving ammunition from one point to the other, moving weapons from one point to the other to go and commit havoc are being arrested every day. We are working round the clock, both the intelligence community and the armed forces of Nigeria. We are working around the clock to make sure we nip these things in the bud. And if they happen, we respond to it appropriately.
Similarly, troops of Operation Wild Stroke responded to terrorist activities in Goma local government area of Benue State, leading to the rescue of 30 injured victims.
People are carrying AK-47 rifle all over the place. Anybody can get access to uniform and wear the uniform and come and disguise that they are military personnel. But that does not make them military personnel. Our soldiers are properly trained, and we will carry out our job in a professional manner. Even if it's one soldier there, the soldier will do what is the needful thing.
Within the period under review, a terrorist leader was apprehended in a Gabi local government area of Kaduna State. 4 suspected kidnappers were arrested from Nimba Forest in Riom, Plateau State, while 46 illegal refining sites were deactivated by troops of Operation Delta Safe in the South-South region. From the defense headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
INEC has reacted to allegations that officials deployed to supervise the Adamawa State supplementary governorship election had a meeting with a candidate in Government House, and the state was specifically targeted by the commission. Statement by INEC National Commissioner for Information, Festus Okoye, notes that it's been the standard policy and the practice of the commission to deploy national commissioners, recs and other staff from the headquarters or neighboring states for supplementary or off-cycle elections, where doing so is considered necessary. INEC advises the public to disregard these insinuations, as the Commission can only act within the provisions of the Constitution, the Electoral Act, or the electoral guidelines. To the court now. The High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting in Maitama has entertained arguments from counsel to the suspended national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, and some party members seeking the order of court to continue to restrain him from parading himself as such due to allegations of involvement in fraud and forgery. Olabode Arewa reports that the plaintiffs are seeking the court order restraining the affected officers from holding out themselves as officers of the party, pending the determination of the suit.
In the weeks leading to the conduct of the 2023 general elections, one Eze Oko leveled allegations against 4 Labour Party national officers, including Julius Abure, that allegedly forged documents used to replace his name with that of another candidate during the Ebonyi Labour Party primary election. Consequently, some aggrieved party members had gone ahead to obtain a restraining order of court against Abure and the 3 other executive members from parading themselves as national officers, pending the conclusion of the matter in court. Meanwhile, an Edo State High Court in Benin had, on the other hand, issued a restraining order against the removal of the 4 defendants. At the resumption of proceedings before the High Court of the FCT on Thursday, counsel for the plaintiff claimants called the court's attention to the persistent disobedience of Abure to Justice Hamza Muazu's order, praying the court to convict him and the others for contempt.
That is an affront to the rule of law. That is an affront and flagrant disobedience to the order of a competent court of record.
The question before the court is simple: whether by the report of the police investigation, whether the 4 persons, the 4 national officers mentioned, can still continue to parade themselves as officers of the party.
His defense counsel argued otherwise, saying the plaintiffs have not complied with proper procedure or evidence in leveling allegations of fraud against his clients.
But we said that if you allege something against somebody in a criminal nature, you should have come by writ of someone so that they will come in and defend themselves.
The matter has been adjourned to May 12 for ruling. Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
This is a nationwide. Lagos is our next point of call with Hingino. Hi, Hingino.
Hello, Norlene. The National Orientation Agency continues to interface with traditional leaders of various communities in Lagos State, urging them to use their revered position to promote the maxim, "Think Nigeria First," which will inevitably become an ethos of national cohesion. Lanre Belei, who went with the agency's entourage, reports.
The visit to the traditional head of Ikeja community is part of National Orientation Agency's ongoing consultations with traditional leaders on the value of peace and national cohesion among Nigerians in Lagos State. The Director General of the agency, Garba Abari, cited some incidents that happened during the just concluded 2023 elections and reactions as reasons why national unity needs to become deeply ingrained in the minds of Nigerians, especially the younger generation.
As we engage with traditional rulers and the religious leaders. We also try to engage with the youth through different platforms, online platforms, personal platforms, town hall meetings, advocacy to schools, campuses, secondary schools, both junior and senior.
The regent of Ikeja community, Prince Adekunle Agbena, corroborated with the DJ and promised to intensify efforts in ensuring the promotion of peaceful coexistence in the community.
Continue maintaining the peace in Ikeja. Like the Hausas, the Igbos, and the Yorubas, we are one in Ikeja.
The National Orientation Agency says other interface platforms such as this are already scheduled and will be carried out continually. In Lagos, Lanre Bileyi, NTA News.
Health practitioners the world over are working towards increasing accessibility to quality health care by building a resilient system for all. This aspiration, which is in line with the international observance, is canvassing strengthening primary health care systems to accelerate the universal coverage. Adiola Komiakere reports.
Sustainable Development Goal 3 aspires to ensure health and well-being for all, including a bold commitment to end the epidemics of AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and other communicable diseases by 2030. It also aims to achieve universal health coverage and provide access to safe and effective medicines and vaccines for all.
7.5 years to the 2030 deadline for the SDGs. We know it can only be achieved with an adequate and well-supported health workforce.
The pandemic that ravaged nations over the past 2 years further exposed the critical gaps in the healthcare systems. Primary health care is therefore the foundation of any resilient healthcare system that can provide essential health services and preventive care for communities. Such investments, experts say, can improve health outcomes for all.
Government needs to do a lot more work to make working at primary health care centers attractive to the healthcare providers.
As the time frame for the actualization of the SDGs draws nearer, medical practitioners are renewing commitments towards improving healthcare systems for the benefit of citizens.
It's a way to create awareness among health practitioners and health researchers to continue to find solutions to the myriads of health challenges that we have all over the world.
Routine medical examination is key to achieving the globally set goals. So, how often do people check themselves?
If you are living a healthy lifestyle, you have good personal hygiene, then that way you are preventing illnesses.
Eat right, eat the right food, stay away from malnourished food.
Medical experts believe dialogues between government and key players in the health sector will help in achieving health for all. In Lagos, Adeola Komiakere, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Also remember that the National Population Census is 13 days away. You count, so be counted. Nationwide continues after this break. Please stay with us.
Good to have you join us in Makudi. The National Population Commission, NPC, has inaugurated Committee on Publicity, Security, Logistics in the state ahead of 2023 National Population and Housing Census. Governor who inaugurated the committee was represented by Special Advisor on Security, retired Paul Hemba.
On behalf of the Executive Governor of Benue State, declare the Security and Logistics Committee inaugurated.
The representative of the governor, retired Colonel Paul Hemba, who read out the terms of reference for each committee, said the committees would help facilitate public enlightenment and education, security of training facilities as well as transportation, and security of census personnel and materials.
you members of this committee will do a very good job, that we give confidence to the people and credibility, acceptability to the results of this census exercise.
Federal Commissioner MPC Benue State, Patricia Kupchi, while expressing the readiness of the commission, charged members of the committee to discharge their duties and ensure a smooth and successful exercise.
The next census is essentially for planning. Planning virtually everything and in all spheres. And everyone counts. We are determined to count everyone at the right place at once.
Representatives from both committees in an acceptance speech promised to work dutifully for the success of the 2023 census. The commission has assured members of the public that the exercise, which will hold from May 3rd to 7th, 2023, will be transparent and verifiable. In Makudi, Simbiat Agbaji, NTA News.
The Benue State Police Command has expressed its resolve towards ending cattle rustling and other criminal activities in the state. Police Public Relations Officer SP Sewese Anene gave the assurance while parading 7 suspected cattle rustlers at the State Police Command in Makudi. Correspondent Moses Ode reports.
3 of the 7 suspected cattle rustlers were arrested from Guma local government, while 4 others are said to be from Taka local government areas of the state. According to some leaders of the gang, they specialize in rustling cattle from herders and selling it to food vendors and other interested buyers in the society. Police Public Relations Officer SP Sewese Anene observed that the suspects were arrested following tip-off from concerned members of the public.
Both herders and farmers, they come together to rustle cattle from the herders and then go back to the herders to tell them that it was the farmers that rustled their cattle, and then they begin to clash.
She further stated that the police is on the trail of other members of the gang and appealed to members of the public to avail the command with useful information that may lead to their arrest. In Makudi, Moses Ajao Udi, NTA News.
And that does it from Makudi. It's back to Nolene in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Susan. Kaduna State government says it will continue to strengthen collaboration with the security agencies in the state to neutralize the remnant of bandits still terrorizing people. Governor Nasiru Ahmed El-Rufai, during the presentation of the state's quarterly report, commended the security agencies for eliminating about 1,000 bandits in a combined operation. Mohammed Umar Ajingi reports.
The leaders of various security agencies in the state and the traditional rulers who assist with intelligence reports on security issues in their different communities are here for another overview of security situation in the state for the year 2022 and the first quarter of 2023.
To reduce the challenge in southern Kaduna and lead in other areas we need quite some push on the kinetic line so that people can learn to live together in peace.
The report presented by the State Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs Samuel Aruan covers banditry, terrorism and kidnapping perpetrated by armed bandits, which shows the security agencies are making serious gains against the criminals.
We thank the federal government for finally authorizing the launch of these combined military and police offensives. We commend the military and security forces for their efforts and sacrifices as they work to uproot the criminals. I wish to stress that in this region, this vital mission requires a comprehensive and consistent sweep across the Northwest and Niger states for sustained success.
As the security agencies advise the media to avoid creating tension or instigating conflict through unverified stories. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Still on security, the 9th Force Commander Multinational Joint Task Force in Jamina, Chad, Republic, Major General Gold Chibuisi, has assumed office with commitment to build on the successes recorded by his predecessor and to ultimately clear remnants of insurgents across communities in the Lake Chad Basin. The new force commander took over from Major General Abdul Khalifa Ibrahim, who has been deployed to the office of the National Security Advisor in Abuja. Maimuna Garba reports.
The new force commander, Multinational Joint Task Force Major General Gold Chibuisi, who had the privilege of serving in the MNJTF general area, came well prepared to serve, having known the peculiar security challenges within the theater of operation. General Gold promised to improve on the security situation with utmost seriousness as he called on the defense forces from UK, France, AU, and the Lake Chad Basin Commission, among others, to continue to support the MNJTF deliver on its mandate.
The conflict in the Lake Chad Basin has impacted the lives of the people of our dear nations and the economy. So it is expedient that this conflict be brought to an end for the benefit of all.
Outgoing Force Commander Major General Abdul Khalifa Ibrahim said the Lake Chad Basin area is much more secured now than when he assumed office, as international trading routes were reopened, with most IDPs and refugees across the region have so far returned to their ancestral homes.
It is on record that attacks have dropped by as much as 60% or more in the Lake Chad Basin area. Violent extremist groups, Boko Haram and ISWAP, have been severely degraded.
Representatives of EU, UK, AU, LCBC, among other partners of the MNJTF, acknowledged the successes recorded in the fight against terrorism in the region and reiterated their unalloyed support to the new commander. After a gallant and meritorious service as Force Commander, Multinational Joint Task Force for 20 months, Major General Abdul Khalifa Ibrahim is leaving to take up another role back home in service to his nation. From the MNJTF headquarters in Jamena, Chad, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Thank you, Maimuna. In other news, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCAM, has noted with concern the plight of Nigerian students in Sudan over the escalation of hostilities between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary group Rapid Support Forces, RSF. A statement by Abike Dabre-Rewa stated that the Commission has received a letter of solicitation by National Association of Nigerian Students Sudan for possible evacuation of students, especially those in Khartoum, the Sudanese capital, and assured that the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, which is in charge of emergency evacuations, is consulting with the Nigerian mission in Sudan and other relevant agencies. Abike Dabre-Rewa therefore urged all Nigerian students in Sudan, as well as Nigerians living in Sudan, to be security conscious and calm. Mushroom, a fleshy and spore-bearing plant, is one nature's finest plants and known to many with medicinal values that individuals and the government can harness for the upliftment of the society. This is the thrust of the 22nd inaugural lecture of the National Open University of Nigeria on mushrooms, Friends of Voice. The lecture exposed the research conducted by a professor of botany who dwelt on the nutritional and economic values of the plant that is relegated by the society.
All mushrooms are fungi, but not all fungi are mushroom. Mushroom cultivation as a good income generation and employment creation to alleviate poverty. Mushroom can help in no small way to tackle the three basic problems facing man in life, such as shortage of food, diminishing quality of human health, and pollution of the environment. It is imperative for government to commence exploitation of mushroom cultivation for wealth creation and poverty alleviation. This is because mushrooms have a lot of contribution to make to the economy of the nation.
While two types of the plant exist, they are edible and poisonous. The lecturer, however, cautioned that its consumption should be restricted to those who have been confirmed as edible, or else it would wipe out entire family when consumed. Gabrielle is our guide from Port Harcourt Network Center. Let's now join her for next set of reports. Good evening, Gabrielle.
Good afternoon, Gabrielle. Good afternoon. Welcome to Port Harcourt. As Nigerians gear up for the 2023 National Population and Housing Census, residents of Port Harcourt have stressed the need to put in place measures that will curtail pitfalls that can affect credibility of the process. They made their observations known while speaking with correspondent Robinson Doratede.
17 years after the last national census held in 2006, Nigeria is set to conduct a fresh national population and housing census from 3rd to the 5th of May 2023 across the 774 local government areas of the country. Reliable and detailed data on the size, structure, socio-economic and demography of the country's population is fundamental, and the reasons are obvious.
Socio-economic data comes in handy as a tool, like a master plan, but that is dependent on the data that you have.
The federal government, through the National Population Commission, NPC, has continued to assure Nigerians of commitment to achieving a credible outcome through stakeholders' engagement and sensitization. However, the peculiarity of the terrain in River State and other riverine areas of the Niger Delta region is of concern to the people. They urge NPC to show sincerity in the conduct of the exercise to avoid pitfalls.
Counting people shouldn't be such a problem, if you know what I mean. It's go there, you have the demographics, you have the data, count them and present them properly. Let's have, you know, a true idea of how many we are in this country.
River State, because of it, has a difficult terrain, so it requires a careful work, and those coming here must be dedicated to do the right job, the right time.
If we have the wrong set of ad hoc staff deployed into rural communities, it means we will not have the right data required.
Everyone will be counted and in the right place. We'll not count you in your office except you're on essential service.
It is expected that Nigerians will complement the efforts of enumerators by supplying accurate information. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Doratede, NTA News.
The legislature is constitutionally vested with the mandate of making laws to shape and influence public policies and control taxing and spending of the executive arm of government. To this end, independence of these arms of government is critical to deepening democracy in the country. Justina Etim takes a look at the possible benefits of the legislature, especially as the president recently assented to a bill to guarantee legislative autonomy.
Agitation for financial autonomy by the National and State Houses of Assembly dates back to 1999, and this never came to fruition, having witnessed stiff opposition from governors of different states of the Federation. However, with the recent signing of 16 constitutional amendment bills into law by President Muhammadu Buhari, there is hope in sight as the said financial independence for the legislature may now become a reality. But what are the gains?
And autonomy is a very good event that has just happened to put the House of Assembly in an advantageous position to be able to regulate its activity in terms of finances, in terms of capacity building.
I think financial autonomy gives them the right to work without having to think about who's funding or what's funding them.
There's nothing as good as freedom. And now they can run their own things independently without interference from the executive.
Many believe that implementation of financial autonomy for state legislatures will promote accountability, thereby deepening the tenets of democracy in Nigeria.
I think it is right that there should be autonomy, because when you talk about check and balances, it is only someone who is relatively independent who can check the other.
We expect the 10th
Assembly very, very independent. They will not have any cause to be branded anymore as rubber stamp assemblymen.
The legislature is considered as the closest arm of government to the people. As such, respondents say it must be independent to enhance the performance of its constitutional obligations. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
And as our contribution from Port Harcourt, we will take a short breather. Nationwide continues with Amina in Kaduna. Stay tuned.
The Northern Christian Political Forum has called on Nigerians to desist from unguided utterances over national policies and give emphasis to issues of unity, peace, and progress. This was during a press conference in Kaduna State led by the leadership of the association. Mohammed Umar Ajingi reports.
Members of the Northern Christian Political Forum are meeting for the first time after the outcome of the 2023 general elections to congratulate the president-elect for the success at the polls and to also put forward some demands as one of the Christian associations in the region that stand firm and wholeheartedly supported the APC. While appealing to Nigerians to avoid unguided statements over national issues, the group said it wants the next administration to respect federal character principle and give equal appointment to all Nigerians with no ethnic, gender, or religious bias.
The request is, those who are behind the religious tolerance, those who were canvassing, even among in the odds, we have somebody like Right Honorable Aminu Sani Jaji, whatever he can do to speak to the leadership of the National Assembly, especially the Speaker of the House of Reps, that we are canvassing to be zoned to Northwest.
The Northern Christian Political Forum is asking all Nigerians and international community to support the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Kaduna. I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Nigerian Army has deployed another set of more than 160 troops for ECOWAS peace mission in Guinea-Bissau, a West African country faced with political instability. Recent posting of the contingents is also to enhance regional security in West African sub-region. Suleiman Ablar Gachkun reports.
Nigeria has in the last 5 decades committed both human and material resources to the attainment of peace in the West African sub-region at continental and global levels. The recent is this deployment of Nigerian Company 2 troops specially trained on tactical and contemporary cross-cutting issues such as protection against sexual exploitation, crowd dispersal and control, weapon handling, civilian protection in line with international humanitarian law, and the United Nations Peace Support and Peacekeeping Operation Guidelines.
These men and women are better informed and equipped to perform their roles when they arrive in Guinea-Bissau.
The deployment of these 161 troops for ECOWAS stabilization mission in Guinea-Bissau is another impetus to the fight against cross-border crimes in the West African sub-region. Military authorities urge them to be good ambassadors of Nigeria while in Guinea-Bissau.
The skills and knowledge acquired during your pre-deployment training will help you to navigate through challenges in executing the mission mandates.
ECOWAS stabilization mission in Guinea-Bissau was established after the coup attempt in the country in 2022. The contingents, including 11 officers, are part of the over 100,000 Nigerian military personnel who participated in more than 42 continental and global peace support and peacekeeping missions since independence. Suleiman Gachku, NTA News.
That's it from here. It's back to Nolin in Abuja.
Very well, Amina. Thank you. The passage of Peace Corps Bill by the National Assembly has been commended. Commandant of the Corps, Dixon Ako, gave the commendation at a media briefing at the Corps headquarters in Abuja. He, however, advised the members of the public to be guarded that the Corps is not recruiting, as the president is yet to assent to the bill.
Appeal to President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to do the needful by assenting to this all-important bill, which will, in no doubt, give positive credence of his concern for the plight of Nigerian youth nationwide. Assenting to the bill will be a deserving parting gift to the youth of this nation, for which prosperity will always reckon with him on the right side of the history.
The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Emerson, has called on the management of the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, to rethink the entry position as well as allocate slots for federal civil servants in the senior executive course. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation made the appeal when the Director General of NIPS, Professor Ayo Omoto-Ayo, in the company of the Institute's management staff, paid her a courtesy visit in Abuja. Hamman Jabani has the details.
The Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Emerson, lamented that only substantive directors are considered eligible for admission, while the bar is being lowered for public servants. The head of service, however, commended NIPS for retooling the personnel in government through the conduct of courses for middle and top-level officers. The head of service concurred that a collaboration between the National Institute and the Office of the Head of Civil Service will make a better understanding of government policies and their effectiveness in moving the country forward. She acknowledged the quality of work put in by the Institute, buttressing it with the fact that in the last 3 years, a substantial number of the present crops of transformative federal permanent secretaries were products of NIPS.
Skills that you need to have acquired before you can become an assistant director, deputy director, and then and we saw that the skills were missing. So I approached NIPS to try to see how we could work together on that intermediate course.
Policy analysts that will work at this level of government should also be certified. So we are professionalizing policy analysis.
Professor Omoto-Ayo said the Office of the Head of Service, being a think tank of government, should ensure that policies are well articulated as well as executed. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
On arts and craft, it has been 5 years of drama, accusations and counter-accusations since the Abuja Arts and Crafts Village was shut down due to illegal activities at the premises. Well, after all the intrigues, there is cheering news as the National Council for Arts and Culture is set to reopen the new modernized and organized center with benefiting facilities to the public in the next 2 weeks. Oinaya Kaloka has more on this.
It is strategically located at the center of Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. The Abuja Arts and Craft Village was established in 2003 for the exhibition of artworks during the Commonwealth meeting. In 2018, the village was shut down by the National Council for Arts and Culture due to some illegal activities.
No more parking stolen cars, no more selling of drugs. You know, hard drugs were sold here.
Within this period, despite protests and distractions by the artists, the council concentrated in renovating, modernizing, and putting up a standard organized cultural center that will promote the country's rich cultural works, generate revenue, and create employment.
We're going to provide toilet facility here. We're going to provide a business center, a pharmacy, a restaurant. I mean, so many activities will be going on here. And then I'm coming up with the first birthday shop. It's not common. It's first of its kind. And by the first 6 months, we are looking at turning it to a night market.
With more than 200 renovated shops with a mix of cultural and modern facilities, the once aggrieved artists are hopeful and excited for a new and better opportunities.
And it's a good thing that he is actually concentrating in promoting the arts and then the cultures of Nigeria's people. So what he has done is to say that Nigeria will actually be competing with most African countries that have taken art tourism to their own levels that they are today. So the structure, everything here actually appeals for that.
The cultural center is expected to be reopened in 2 weeks. Oyinaya Kalo Oka, NTA News.
Similarly, Hoina Ekalo Oka reports that 9 creative Nigerian icons who have contributed to the growth and development of visual arts have been recognized and honored by the National Gallery of Art Maiden Mast Festival and Awards in Abuja.
The Mast Festival and Awards by the National Gallery of Arts is to reward excellence in creativity in the visual arts world. The Director General of the National Gallery of Arts said the award, which cuts across all stakeholders of the visual arts subsector, is aimed at encouraging the development of the creative minds in Nigeria.
Mast Festival and Awards therefore symbolizes the very height of achievement in the arts, the epitome, the peak. You cannot go higher than.
I wish to commend the National Gallery of Arts for identifying and rewarding those worthy individuals and institutions.
At this first edition, the following categories were considered: Lifetime Achievement Award, Visual Arts Personality Award, and Innovative Art Gallery Award. Others are Exemplary Art Entrepreneurship Award, Visionary Artist Award, and Distinguished Visual Arts Leadership Award, among several others.
My parents are craft people. I come from a very, very poor family. I can hardly afford to even finish primary 6. But the art has taken me to a greater point today.
Wonderful. So I don't know how to express my joy.
Most of the awardees, they've mentored and they've kept the art world to the position. They've taken it to greater heights.
The National Gallery of Arts Mast Festival and Awards is to be held yearly. Oyina Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Security agencies in the Federal Capital Territory say they are not leaving anything to chance in the build-up to the Eid al-Fitr festivities. They spoke to security correspondent Onotu Yakubu in view of the recent resurgence of protest activities of members of the Islamic movement of Nigeria.
Over the last couple of days, scenes such as these have been common sights and will be in days to come across the Federal Capital Territory. Show of force by security agencies joined task force to provide the needed security for residents of the nation's capital as the people celebrate Eid al-Fitr festivity.
All proactive measures have been taken to ensure hitch-free Eid al-Fitr. It's our cardinal duties to protect life and property of all of the citizens within FCT. And to the criminal, we are advising the criminal for their own go to bucket. FCT is no go area for any criminal.
We have deployed men and some of our arsenals to various places of interest, particularly the worship centers and the Eid praying ground, and some other key places. My call is, please report anything that you see that is unusual.
The agencies say their mission in the days ahead will be to ensure that every FCT resident celebrates the festivity unperturbed by any form of threat to security. In Abuja, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
In Islam, most of the pillars of the religion are accompanied by one sacrifice or the other. This condition is also applicable to Ramadan fast, as Muslims are expected to pay Zakat al-Fitr at the conclusion of the fast. Tokwe Alabi in this report takes a look at the importance of this act undertaken at the end of Ramadan.
قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى.
Ramadan fast is associated with various forms of devotions. Apart from the fastings, obligatory prayers, and other acts of worship, the month is also characterized with almsgiving. One major act required at the end of Ramadan fast is Zakat al-Fitr. The purpose of Zakat al-Fitr is to enable poor people celebrate Eid al-Fitr, the festival to break the Ramadan fast.
The main idea is to make everybody has something to eat on that very day.
We need to give a lot of charity. We need to have
empathy for the less privileged.
And when it comes to difficulties of life, the biggest of them is food. Anybody that is hungry will not even listen to anything.
Used to wipe away all your sins, and it completes your Ramadan fasting.
This form of charity becomes mandatory from sunset on the last day of fasting and remains so until the beginning of Eid prayer. It is given by the head of the household for each member of the family. The measurement is 1 sa'ah or 4 mudu of grains to be given out as zakatul fitri per person. The zakat is given from staple food items in the community, which include rice, corn, millet, beans, soybeans, and the likes. However, some scholars are of the opinion that staple foods like gari and semolina can also be given out as zakatul fitri.
Zakatul fitr can be paid, when the Ramadan is coming to an end, starting from like 2 days to the end of Ramadan.
So anyone given after the Eid become ordinary charity.
Islamic clerics say Zakatul Fitri basically censors that the poor have food resources to celebrate Eid, thank Allah, and share the day's joy with their families. In Abuja, Tokpe Alabi, NTA News.
Thank you, Tokwe. And still on Ramadan charity, orphans and less privileged children within Abuja metropolis had a swell time at this year's Maple Leaf Early 2023 Ramadan party for orphans. Elizabeth Omori has all the fun of the event.
Some are orphans, while others are from less privileged homes, but they are not perturbed by their status or religion, because they have made lemonade from their lemons. Gestures like this Ramadan party help rekindle their hope.
I want to say that I thank you that you come here.
Meeting their needs and making them have a sense of belonging, the organizers say, will help rid the society of vices negating true values.
It's just part of the Ramadan activity to do something like this within the fasting period. Having that idea of giving these children from orphanage, bringing them out to have fun is the right thing for service to humanity.
The Ramadan party was not just a platform to wine and dine. It gave the children the opportunity to express themselves artistically through dance, choreography, games, and much more. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
And talking sports now, Federal Ministry of Sports and Youth Development dispatches its Director of Facilities to Lagos over a falling floodlight mast at the National Stadium, Surulere. This and more with Chikunonson Wabweze on Sports Update.
Following Monday's rainstorm that brought down the floodlight mast at the National Stadium, Lagos, the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development has dispatched its Director of Facilities to Lagos to assess the situation. The ministry, in a statement Thursday, said, although no casualty was recorded, the incident, however, brings to the fore the abandonment of the edifice, which has been without any meaningful maintenance in the last 19 years. Efforts geared towards rehabilitation of parts of the stadium have been on, but paucity of funds means 17 components of the stadium, including the crashed mast, were not included in the rehabilitation work championed by the outgoing Minister of Sports, Sunday Dare. The statement raised in parts. In football, actions resumed tonight in this season's UEFA Europa League quarterfinals. English side Manchester United will hope to correct their mistake after blowing away a 2-goal lead to draw 2-2 in their first leg encounter with Sevilla when both sides meet Thursday evening in Spain. In other second leg ties, AS Roma with a goal deficit play host to Dutch side Feyenoord at the Stadio Olimpico Rome. Juventus take a 1-0 advantage to Portugal to face Sporting Lisbon. Meanwhile, reigning English champions Manchester City are through to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League after drawing 1-1 against Bayern Munich to advance 4-1 on aggregate to set up a mouth-watering encounter with holders Real Madrid. Inter Milan also made it to the last four, 5-3 on aggregate after drawing 3-3 at home against Benfica on Wednesday. And in tennis, Tunisian international Ons Jabeur came from a set-down to progress to the quarterfinals of the 2023 WTA Stuttgart Open after a 1-6, 7-6, 6-3 win over Yelena Ostapenko of Latvia. With sports updates, I am Chukunonso Nwabweze, NTA News.
The sports update there concludes Nationwide News today. I am Nolene Ebel Ame. Thank you for watching. Good evening.